Welcome back to Bob Chapman here, the editor of the International Forecaster newsletter, because I'm seeing all kinds of things, even from the mainstream media, Bob, that is saying that, yeah, it's going up to $1,600 before long. Have you seen that information, Bob?
Some of the adversaries of gold, like J.P. Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, have all admitted gold's going higher. Most of the figures come in anywhere between 1,500 and 2,500.
Whoa!
And most of them around 2,000. And so if we get $2,000 gold, you have to have at least $100 silver. So we're looking at some very, very large numbers. This morning, there's kind of a little mini Titanic struggle going on between the forces of the plunge protection team and the buyers out there. And they knocked gold back down to even or slightly below during the course of the program. And it's trying to gain momentum along with silver back to the upside. But it's interesting to see the machinations of government. They just don't get it. No matter what they do, they're going to lose. And we are going to win.
Whoa.
Because there's too many people, as you just pointed out, who are starting to realize that they really want to know what's going on. How did this happen? Why is it continuing to happen? And all the shade is being pulled up so that people can look in, and that look in comes from your program and programs like this. And now even mainstream are allowing people like me on, if you can believe that.
Well, that's not because of people like you. It's because of what you're saying, obviously. And we're thrilled to know that that you are going on there and that you are shedding this information. Because people are saying, wait a minute, we spent ourselves into oblivion and nothing's getting any better. Hey, let me ask you real quickly. Do you know Dr. Murray Sabrin, who says why gold will rise at least $6,000 per ounce? Are you familiar with this guy?
No, I'm not familiar with his writings, nor am I familiar with him, but that's not unusual. There's a lot of bright people in this world.
But $6,000 an ounce for gold, that's pretty outrageous.
I don't have to even read him to tell you that if you go back to 1980 and $850 gold, and you take official inflation, you end up today with about $2,700 gold. If you take unofficial inflation, which is true inflation, it's about $6,700, $6,800 an ounce. Now, the question is, will it reach that? And the answer is yes. Yes, we have our detractors. There's 3 or 4 of them perpetually out there saying gold is going to 500, like Jimmy Rogers, who has never been pro-gold in his entire life. And that's understandable with the criminal who's been convicted twice, incidentally, George Soros, illuminist, as his ex-partner, and as Gary North and Tim Wood and just several of them. And you often wonder what goes through these people's heads when they talk about gold, because they've been perpetually wrong for years, the last 2 or 3 years. And, all you have to do is look at the fundamentals. You don't have to be a genius to figure this out. Just learn a little bit about history, and then you know where this is all going to go.
Yes.
And so don't the people who are causing this, because they think that they are going to be able to bring order out of chaos. And I've got news for them. It isn't going to work this time, because we all know what you're doing now, more and more and more. And when exposure comes, the light of day, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do. So forget it. And that's what they said at the Bilderberger meeting. Look, this thing is getting out of control. I mean, I think maybe we should stop this before they discover what we're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
That was what was said at this Bilderberger meeting. They're terrified. And why are they terrified? Because programs like Joyce's is telling the world, this is what these guys are doing. And if everybody discovers it, there's going to be trials and people are going to go to jail. They'll lose their fortunes. The Illuminati will be struck asunder. And that's what's going to happen. And they know it, and they're terrified.
Well, it's interesting because Richard Dottie, the Mogambo guru who's writing at dailyreckoning.com, says that the advice to buy gold is the lesson of the last 4,500 years of governments acting irresponsibly when given control of a fiat currency in which they could create as much money as they wished. Inflation in prices inevitably caused chaos, misery, starvation, and revolution. And along with that, though, we've got this story coming out of MSNBC saying that 1,562 banks will be gone in the next few years. And already 61 have shut down. It may even be worse than that if we were to know the full truth.
Well, they know what's going to happen. They want to be able to say, we told you, and they're vastly understating it. And we'll probably lose somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 banks.
Whoa.
That's what we'll lose.
Well,
and so, it's like anything that's disinformation. 95% truth, 5% let's get our agenda in. And this is what guys like Glenn Beck and the other mainline, as you may say, on the networks, that's how they get away with what they get away with. And it's very seldom that they bring on somebody like Ron Paul or myself, because they really don't want to discuss the depth of things. They just want to put a veneer on it and get the mainline, we'll call it, agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And CNBC is the same way. They had this fellow on from a banking concern that's involved in currencies and gold and things like that. I won't mention him, but they just took him apart. Because he was frightened. He'd never been in that position before in major television. But the thing that they did, which really disturbed me, and I know two of the people who did this very, very well, because I used to be on FNN all the time, which became CNBC. They said that there was no such thing as the working group in financial markets. And that's just an outright lie. And this is the kind of thing that's going on in radio and television today. And we, you and I and others like us, are trying to, and we will, put a stop to this.
Well, along with that, there are 19, out of all the FDIC insured banks, there's 8,246 FDIC insured banks. They had to recently refund FDIC. Why? Because they ran out of money with the other 41 banks that went under. However, what I think is frightening, along with what you're saying right now, Bob, is that 19 of the largest banks comprise 2/3 of all the U.S. banking assets. That means it's narrowed down to, if those 19 go out of business, that's 2/3 of all the assets this country has in the banks.
Well, you're right. First of all, they've asked for $500 billion more. The 19 banks are all bankrupt and have been bailed out by the Fed and the Treasury Department. In a way, the smaller banks are inconsequential, because you say to yourself, if they're going to bail out the 19 who caused this problem in the first place, along with the Fed, why don't we bail out all the other little ones?
Well, wait a minute. It's inconsequential unless it's your little bank. And those little banks are the ones that are not going to get funded. They're talking about the ones that need to raise capital versus those that don't. I mean, we might as well name them. PNC Financial, Fifth Third, U.S. Bank Corp., Morgan Stanley, Life Key Corp with Goldman Sachs, Capital One. These people are in huge trouble, and it's not being told to the public. It's business as usual.
Well, how about the rest of them? They are all bankrupt. Otherwise, they wouldn't ask for money. And how about the insurance companies? They gave six of them, major companies, billions of dollars. They're on the edge of insolvency, or they may even be insolvent as well. That's why I've been telling people to get out of cash value policies and get out of annuities. Because if they're in bonds or in the market, even in treasuries, you're going to end up losing. The dollar is going down another 50% from here.
Whoa.
You got to be out of dollar-related assets, and you got to be in gold and silver. It's the only place for wealth preservation.
We'll be back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned to the Power Hour. This is Joyce with Bob Chapman. Stay tuned.